All right, we are ready to go with the messenger. Take it away, Miinfin.
Hey everybody, my name is Miinfin. I run the messenger, primarily any percent. So that's what we're going to be seeing today. This is the second longest category in the game, being outpaced only by 100%. Joining me today are going to be my commentary, 70 Sins and Minus 27. They're going to do all the technical talking because I can't do that and play at the same time. So I play, they make me sound good. Alright, so I'll let them introduce themselves real quick, and then we should be getting to go pretty soon.
What's going on, my guys? My name is 7D. I'm one of the newer members of the Bamboo crew. This any percent run, this is one of the runs that I mainly do. It is crazy. There's so many tricks going on comparatively to the more run 8-bit or linear categories. So this run is quite a treat.
And I'm Minus. I'm also a speedrunner of the game. I've been around the community a little bit longer, ins and outs. Any percent, one of my favorite runs of all time for this game, and I cannot wait to get started.
Alright, so time will start here as soon as I accept the name, so we're going to be going in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
So this is The Messenger, created by Sabotage Studios. One of the greatest indie developers of all time, by the way. Please go play this game if you've never played it before. The dialogue is one of the best dialogues, actually, in some of the more recent games I've played, but unfortunately we don't get to see any of that. So you guys got to go do it yourself.
Text is slow.
We're going to be going pretty fast today. So this is intro. Nothing's really going on here. We're just basically introduced to our cloud step mechanic, where every time Ninja gets a hit on something, we get an extra jump. Not a whole lot going on here, although there is small optimization here whenever the text boxes end. If you're holding jump, Ninja will actually do a full hop as opposed to what just happened there, which is a short hop. So every time that happens, you're saving a little bit of time letting go of the buttons. But, otherwise, we're just kind of introduced to the story and the main mechanic.
Just a little recap on what you're going to be seeing today. This is a new game, any percent run. So the two major things are, we're doing an 80% run, so it's from the game starts to when the full game ends, which is going to be after the mass shatters after the last boss fight. So there's that, and then this is a new game run, which means you're starting from a fresh save file, which means you have no upgrades, nothing to start with. So there's a lot to keep in mind when you're going through a run like that, as opposed to like a New Game Plus run where you have all the upgrades, and it's much less about time shard management and stuff, and more about just routing and nailing moves.
And one of the cooler things, I think, in comparison for a new game as opposed to New Game Plus, is the ramping of difficulty, as we always talk about. You sort of accumulate different tech as you progress through the game that allows you to go faster. But right now we don't have any of that. But what we do have is a T-boost. So you see Miinfin sort of reverse slashing right before he hits these green turtles. And every time he does that, it gives him a forward boost. And so we can use this to our advantage. There's so many different things we can T-boost off of in this game. It's kind of cool that in the first stage, we still are, even though we literally have nothing, we can still go fast.
Going to visit our favorite shopkeeper. One of, if I'm not mistaken, 6 visits? The first of 6?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go in there, we try to hit our original 40 shard count that we need for that first shop visit, and we go in to pick up 2 things. One, the mandatory upgrade for the climbing claws, so that we can climb up walls, required to continue on with the stage. And then the other one we're going to pick up is the ability to essentially strike enemy projectiles, the things that they shoot, so that we can hit them, but also get cloud steps off of them. Right thoughts? Very good.
Yeah.
So there, what happens? Pretty much every spike you see, you can just draw a line right down the middle. If you get hit on the left side, you get boosted left. Hit on the right side, you get boosted right. But Ninja's hitbox is a little weird at times, especially when he's like spinning or you're like turning and trying to hit something. So we just, we kind of hold right and pray that you got the rightmost drift.
Also coming really, really close to a buzzkill right there.
Yeah, You got to get a clean shave for your date with Spike Tower.
And here we usually take some time to appreciate the beautiful sound design of this game. Braybone Dragon Eyes is the composer and sound designer of the game. And it's really nice effect here when you're in the water. You know, the music's really, really quiet, and you jump back out, and it's all full blast again. It's a really nice little subtle thing.
You see the setup? And
Nice.
nails it,
Like that,
as
yeah.
always. Yeah. It's a nice little skip. We talked about it recently, too. But I like the Spike Tower as a strat because it kind of... it to me was that gatekeeping point for speedrunning, at least at this level, where it tells you a bit about your cloud stepping skills, right? So at that point,
absolutely.
it's a point of testing yourself to say, okay, I need to practice my cloud stepping to be able to do some of these strats during runs, and I think that Spike Tower is a great example of that test.
Yeah, that's very
Well-
true. It happens in the first stage, right?
Yeah, that's the great thing is it happens real soon. Oh, good turn.
Nice. That turtle's kind of a pain to hit. You usually either stick to the wall or don't hit him at all. So
Yeah, I'm pretty okay at the Kappa Slappa.
we like slapping turtles.
We do.
It's just such a beautiful concept that you slap turtles to go fast in this game. It's just beautiful. But it's not only turtles. It's, like we said, pretty much anything that has more than one health. You can do this on, including things that aren't living. Which you saw the fireflies earlier in the stage. Those you can actually boost off of as well as things like switches or other things. Lanterns you can't do it off of, unfortunately. That would be sick. There are a million of them, but oh well.
That would be great.
Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah,
You can
I'm
lantern
guessing-
T-boost off of every, or rope dart boost off every lantern? Ooh!
Yeah.
I mean, heebie-jeebies thinking about it. We just purchased our next two upgrades, which would be the damage cancel, second wind, and shurikens, which is arguably one of the most important things in the run. And it's needed for this particular one cycle, where we just kind of hold forward and mash into him. Usually fine, as long as we don't get hit. There is a way to say 0.6, where you basically jump through, you just hold right and mash jump and pray that you're still hitting him, and you end it right at the door. We call that the scary berry, but it's scary, so not everybody goes for that. It's either
no.
you get 0.6 saved or you lose 12 seconds. So
This is the marathon
We're
run.
coming
We don't do
into-
scary strats.
Oh yeah, no very stress. We are coming into a really difficult stage where we're going to come back to later. Don't worry about it.
yeah, Forlorn, that was a cool level, right?
No.
It was a cool
That
song.
place is hard and the song is awesome.
Yeah.
We'll do it later.
Yeah, 8-bit and linear don't get to see that level, but we do. But now we're in the catacombs, which is pretty much like cycles the level. So it's just a lot of like making sure that you can get your first cycle in the room. And you know, sometimes when you're a smart runner like Miinfin, you don't go for the one cycle when you know the crusher's probably going to kill you, like me, because I'm addicted to one cycle.
Hi, Rickson.
Hi, Rickson. This is our first quote-unquote villain of the game, except he's not really a villain. He's just like, he wants to be a villain. He's like, no, he doesn't know what he wants to do.
He's that kind of angsty teen villain. That's the way I think about it.
He's a little confused. That's okay. We'll show him the error of his ways in a little while.
So coming through the stage, to the very beginning, you may have noticed very quickly picking up a little purple buddy of ours, known as Phobicans. Their name's kind of related to the thing that they are afraid of. So we picked up our first of four here, Necro, which is, being in a catacomb, is probably one of the worst nightmares of his. We grabbed him, and in the other more popular runs like 8-bit and in the lesser state linear, you actually don't have a use for them. We just pick them up because you kind of have to.
Because he's in the way,
But
right?
he's in the way. But in 80%, you need them. So that is necessary, and we will be seeing the other three.
Yeah, we ultimately need the Phobicans to complete the bridge that is the forlorn that we jumped down. That will, if we save all four of the Phobicans, then that will be completed. much like Ocarina of Time. Like you can't get to Ganon's tower unless you have all of the medallions and something like that. There's a lot of callbacks to lots of different games that they're sometimes really blatant about. It's actually quite beautiful.
Yeah. The references are not lost on anyone. Their love of other products. You're hitting that pedonk like it's
so that was a cutscene skip. I didn't want to say anything. I was gonna wait. That's kind of a pain. That's pretty much one of the only cutscene skips we have. There's a few. There's like one more that's like really not that optimal. But essentially, what would have happened there is Ruxton would have appeared again, and he would have spawned some more dudes. The door would have been locked, and we couldn't have progressed until the dudes were dead. But if you can get a cloud step in that first lantern on that room, which is really tight, then you can skip loading that cutscene.
As you probably noticed, you saw him set up a little bit in the room prior. What he'll do is he'll try to attack something while falling to get a cloud step going into that room, and then make a precise jump in order to hit that lantern.
Speaking of precise jumps...
Speaking of which...
No!
Nice jump. Oh...
I bumped.
So,
you're on Jeremiah, ruiner of runs, no!
Funny enough, you might believe that spike ball, which is death, by the way, at this health number, would be the killer of that kind of room. But honestly, it's the second half and the skeleton. The skeletons are at their height is so perfect where you whiff them more often than you mean to. And so you slash, it misses, and then they just touch your body, and then it screws the whole thing up. Oh, hi, Ruxton.
Hi, Ruxton.
That's what you want to see.
Nice.
HB high in chat for anybody that has it.
Funnily enough, the developers
Great kill.
created that platform because they didn't think you'd be able to get up there, and they did not want to create a floating animation for Ruxton, so they just put that platform up there. But it's okay. We can just jump straight up there and just smack him around.
So surprising to developers sometimes what we choose to use and abuse.
Yeah.
Which is interesting that some of the things that we thought that were completely unintended, the developers actually knew about. And then there's some things like that they're just like, oh, whoops, we didn't know you could get up there.
Oh, bamboo.
Y'all ready?
Go for it.
I like Chinese food. Chinese food is good for you. I like to eat Chinese food, and Chinese food is yummy too. If you like me too, you will bring me Chinese food because it is so yummy. Did I mention I like Chinese food?
Love it.
Bravo.
Thank you, Rainbow Dragon Eyes. That was actually a meme tweet, and that was the lyrics to this stage. But it actually became so popular that everybody adopted it. That's the song now.
Oh yeah, it's lore.
Yeah.
It's lore now. And now I cannot play this stage without getting hungry.
That's why I ate before the run.
Here.
I want to go to Panda
Don't worry
Express
about
after this run.
I know, me too. I can't. Yeah, it hurts.
I shouldn't.
Jump down, please. Thank you.
Sassy. Alright, so now we've got a little miner up here. Kind of hop just a little bit above the screen. There's nothing there, so really easy. It's either that or I actually prefer to fall down and take the damage boost when I have the health for it. But when you don't, that's a great alternative. Okay, here we go. Big skip here.
This is a fun run.
My one tiles.
That's a really hard strat right there. You pretty much have to get 2 perfect cloud steps and then make sure that you get a 1 tile, which is essentially a wall jump on the last possible pixel on the wall. And those are pretty hard, you can imagine. So, still mad respect for going for that strat. There is a different setup there are multiple different setups for different ways to do that room, but that's one of the OG ways to do it, and I always appreciate going for that.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of the R2-N2, which is similar but requires an extra cloud step. Oh no, elevator room Y. I'm a fan of the R2-N2, which requires a second cloud step that's really hard to set up. You're gonna have to get the timing for.
And then I one tile right there at the end of the lantern room. Like, really?
You one tile there, but not when you need it.
Just to troll you, yeah.
This waterfall room's a really good spot to check your time shards. You're sitting at about 256, 257. That tells you you've got more than enough for the shot that's coming up.
Yep, and now we have the next stage. Holly Grotto is somewhat similar to Bamboo Creek in that it's a lot of just kind of a lot of T-boosting and a lot of like clean movement, but we're also forced here to purchase another upgrade, which is the wingsuit, as well as, now that we have enough money, we purchased the swim boost and the pogo, or the wingsuit attack, which is what it's called in the game, but pogo for short.
Yeah, and also I remember to shop right this time.
That's right. That's right. The shop room, it looks the same in every visit. So sometimes you get a little mixed up in which time you're in the shop, and you buy the wrong upgrade. There is a not too slow backup for like fixing that. But ideally, we don't make mistakes, right? Just play perfectly
Right.
every time.
We want to just like buy the right upgrades, but it's nice that you can just exit the title and then reload and just like, okay, let's purchase those upgrades again.
Try again. First try.
Yeah, first try every time.
All right, so we're going to come into a really interesting room with a cycle skip if he gets it. We affectionately refer to as the DK skip.
Just because this room's resemblance to the Donkey Kong video game.
Oh,
pretty
that
good.
bounce! So clean.
I love your setup for it because it kind of gives you a little bit of that breathing room. And
Because you get
also,
rid of that turtle instantly. I try to T-boost off of that guy, and he just ruins my day every time.
So I love that setup, and then of course it all banks on how well you do the damage recovery on the saw blade. And Min's been doing it wonderfully lately, getting the perfect recovery where you actually continue your momentum. So he cleared it without ease, or with ease. I typically allow that saw blade to get pixels away from my back because I am slower.
First E. Hey! So, like we mentioned before, we got the swim boost, which that's the first time you see it. And it gives us access to the fastest movement in the game. But in that small room, you don't really get to see it. There is a way, actually, you can conserve that yeet. You basically get a cloud step off of that lantern as you jump up through that water, and you can go just a little bit further with that max speed, but don't worry, you'll be seeing that a lot more. Those are
Yeah, we like our yeets in any percent.
Yeah,
We do.
those are great.
All right, coming to the last portion of it right now. We get a glimpse. No, we've seen them before, but we get to see our Wizrobes in here. Easily my least favorite enemies in the game.
And also, that was a T-boost off of the Wizard, because they had 2 health.
Got a
Almost
shot
got
pay.
a skip, that's okay. It was a good,
Shot
it
pay, that's
was
solid.
it was a good Grotto.
That's some sticky ninja.
Alright, we got-
Ninja, please take a bath.
We got Emerald Golem here, also known as...
The counting boss. Can you count to 7? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Now we press the shuriken.
We throw our first shuriken into the wall for good luck.
Yeah, it's RNG manipulation.
It's a RNG manip. Mm-hmm. Now he's gonna go right, and you can just like mash into him.
So it's 8 hits on the core. We do 7 with the sword, 8 on the shuriken in order to maximize the time we are on the shoulders to get a 2 cycle. Miinfin nails it, of course, and goes into phase 2. Another 8 hits on the boss. He's got 3 health, so he's looking good.
And the boss can either go left or right here, which is why we want to have.
Oh, I didn't have the
health
shuriken.
here.
Oh, that would have been. Oh, that would have been great.
That would have been a low kill.
Oh, that
That
would have
was
been
really
great.
close. Shuriken, good try.
So
Um,
unfortunately, he had to float back up to get the last hit, which got 2 things. 1, it made the fight go longer, but 2, he actually ended higher on the screen. You gotta float all the way down to the bottom before the cutscene continues. So the lower on the screen you are, you actually save some frames. And
it's pretty noticeable considering how slow you fall with the wingsuit.
Yeah, so it can be seconds depending on how high up you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you do it just right, you're going to find yourself in cloud ruins.
Feels that way.
Yeah. Oh. All right.
So here we have nice TP kill, by the way. That's another example of well, actually, I believe that's the first example of what would basically be considered I almost have to rename it. That's not really a teleport kill. So what happened there was when enemies are killed, they're actually reused. They're put into a pool. And so since Miinfin killed an enemy the same exact frame that the same type of enemy spawned on screen, the enemy's asset just got reused. But then since it was dying, when it got re-put on the screen, it died again. So we can actually abuse that tech a little later. But it's kind of cool right now that you just get to kill an enemy for no reason. But later on, we actually use it to go pretty fast.
That's awesome.
Hey, look, I can do the right room right.
All right. Did you know that if you just hold right in this room, you'll get through it pretty fast? And before that statement was more true.
Yeah, before anyone knew what T-boosts were, that was like literally a true statement.
That was our optimized run, yeah. And then T-boost became a thing, and now you had to press left to go right.
Such a cool concept. Just be frame perfect.
Yeah, just
the meme about that is that there's whenever you activate your sword, there's actually one frame right when it starts where the sword's not actually active. So if you have your quote-unquote frame perfect T-boost where you press left for one frame and slash for one frame and then right for the next consecutive frame, it's not actually frame perfect. So you have to offset it by one frame after that. So yeah, they can be a little bit difficult, but you get used to that.
Lots of practice and a little bit of crying. That's how it went for me, at least.
Such as speedrunning.
Indeed. We're getting through the bully room right now. That's 2.
Yeah, I had too high of a jump.
That's a bully room right there.
That's okay.
Not as scary.
If we make it out of there alive, that's all we can ask for.
That's right. That's a rough spot to die because the checkpoints are right in the next room.
Yeah.
I wish I could sing like a mushroom.
Yeah, all the enemies in this area are just doomed to sing forever. It's kind of horrifying.
You can see the lanterns' mouths moving as they sing the song of their people.
Yeah. But I think they might be singing, but also just like saying, please just end. I want to stop singing.
Take these
letters.
cards out of my head.
Oh, ending on the loop. That's great.
Queen of Quills, who is really, really cool to do quickly, but can be a bit of a pain casually. So as long as we were able to hit her while she's on one of those rope dart rings, then we can immediately just combo her to death. Otherwise, she ends up being a very long and arduous fight.
We got whips this time.
Yeah, so the caveat to getting whipless, not getting this attack, you basically have to pump 45 damage into her in those first 2 cycles, which is quite difficult.
Yeah, I fat finger jump.
Good.
I fat finger jump on that second phase, so I missed a couple hits.
Yeah, it can feel pretty tight. Once you've got it down, you've got your pattern essentially, and all you need to do is just cover left and right bases. But you can feel when you're like, oh, I missed a slash, I'm not gonna make it.
Right. And I don't know if you guys noticed there, Ninja looked really confused there for a second. He just kind of looked left and right. It's like, wow, what the who? What? It's a cutscene actually that you skipped. If you haven't died up to this point, there's a character that's supposed to have appeared if you've died. And there's a second character that appears as well. That they have this sort of dialogue, and Ninja's looking back and forth at him. And but if you don't die, that doesn't happen. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So we just picked up our next mandatory upgrade, which is the rope dart, which is the most broken thing in the game.
Let's see.
We use it to go horizontally fast, vertically fast, break the game, you name it. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm of the mind that the rope dart itself isn't broken; it just breaks the game.
True.
It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
It's literally just a fork on a rope. Like it's not. It's no rocket science here, but man, you'd be surprised what this thing can do.
There's so much tech behind it, in a lot of the game that it messes with its state on, and we get to manipulate the world out of it. And this room is a huge example of one of the 3 big things we like to do with rope darts. You're going to see him set it up for it right now, because we want to take that enemy into the next room.
And I'm gonna have to. I took too much damage coming up on that climb, so I'm gonna go ahead and just preemptively do this. Grab that save and reset, because the amount of damage I would have needed to take, I would not have been able to leash without dying.
So the way this glitch works is that when you try to leash an enemy, whenever you rope dart to something, the rope dart is programmed that the rope dart will fully contract and the ninja will slash said enemy. If you get hit during this the transition where you're getting pulled to the enemy, the game still thinks the rope dart is connected to said enemy because you haven't killed it yet. So what happens is we can sort of trick the game into thinking that that enemy is on screen with us at all times. The only caveat being we can't use the rope dart after we've completed this glitch. And so, yeah, we can use it to go in places that you're not supposed to go. And this use for it is pretty cool. It actually is the biggest sequence break in the game, saving more than 5 minutes, if I recall.
Yeah, I believe so. Because it skips a whole side quest and a whole area of this map you will never see now. Alright, set up. That looks good.
Nice. We just have to get this double cloud step here.
There we go.
And there you go. Now we're going to float randomly here for some reason.
Yeah, it's not going to make sense because the item's not loaded because we're in the wrong time period here. But we pick up one of the collectibles that we need later in order to progress through the game. But yeah, you collected what you can't see. Okay, sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, I guess.
So, yeah, the main reason why that's even important, one, because, yeah, it skips so much, but enemies don't persist between rooms. They will be despawned and recycled as you change rooms. Unless, as 70 was talking about, you have them leashed, which actually maintains their state more strongly. And you can see it a lot, too, in cases where, like, you rope dart something that's off screen, and you go into that screen to hit them. They will remain spawned for a bit as you kill them. And so, it's basically an extension of that.
Well.
Oh, almost. Try for a one tile, and one tiles work, except when they don't.
Yeah, one tiles are rough. Just be pixel perfect.
Our part of it is usually positioning, right? And it's how you approach the one tile. You come in too low, you're not going to hit it. And if you come in too high, if you time it poorly, you're not going to hit it.
So welcome to RNG the Duo. These two have a plethora of attacks that they can do. The main thing that we want them to do early is this! Yay! A combination attack where we get to hit both of them. So because of this, we got to wail on Susie's for a little bit, and then we got the combo attack. So I believe Susie's is dead. Now hopefully Kolos will give us a preferable pattern. Yeah, with that follow, nice follow. Oh, he gave us another combo attack. So that's not what we want late fight, because these do take a while. If Kolos had done any one of his other patterns, this would have been faster. But this also guarantees that they don't tag out or do anything horrendous. So Kolos will be dead after this. And similar to most bosses in this game, they have damage gates where once you hit the gate, they're still alive until they do a particular thing that they're programmed to do, and then they can die. So maybe we just kind of keep an eye on them and wait for them to die. That was actually pretty good, even though he gave us a pretty awful combo attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we get to move on to Glacial Peak.
Shovel, please, in chat.
Yes. Absolutely, Shovel, please. Ooh, one of the coolest intros to a song. And so here is a really, really neat vertical climb level where it's not just going straight up. It's kind of like Mega Man X Boomerang Quanger stage. That stage is a really interesting combination of vertical and horizontal movement. That's why I like this stage. It's just kind of you've learned everything up to this point, and now go fast with it and have fun.
Yeah, nothing really feels quite as satisfying as going fast in this level. The ascents just can feel amazing.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice, like, kind of end of the road for 8-bit as you would approach the top here, which was the goal for the messengers, to get to the top of this exact mountain and present the scroll that they were given.
Sabotage does a great job of making you think that you're like, oh no, the game's gonna end. Like, oh shucks. And then they're like, aha, psych, that's not the end. So we're approaching what we think is the end of the game.
I know for the longest time I thought that it was. Because watching speedruns, that's all I watched was 8-bit speedruns, and it's like, oh, that's not the end?
Right?
Yeah. Oh, there's so much more. Hey, Wizreal, we'll be back.
Hi, Wizzy. Yeah, he's a good buddy.
Where's a nice climber?
We haven't talked to him enough yet, though. But
I
so
consider
he's chill over there.
I consider it closer to an abusive relationship between us and that Wizreal.
Yeah, he's not really a
Not super healthy.
friend. It's like he's kind of being used, but it's okay. We still love him anyway.
All right, let's see the setup.
This is our first
Beautiful.
just report. There we go. So we talked previously about how the enemy pool works. So if you rope dart onto an enemy, while that enemy is dying, the game gets really confused and has to put you on the same enemy that it's just killed. And as long as you put that enemy on screen, it's the same enemy from the pool.
Yeah.
So you just teleport to it.
So we got a slight cutscene here, so if there are any donations to read out, we can probably get one or two in here.
All right. I have a $250 donation from Norinaki SR.
Nori!
Wow. Nice.
Paying my due recompense for my mistakes in my run. Thank you, Midwest Speedfest, for this wonderful event. Let's keep the music going. Shout
If
out
you
to
didn't-
current runner
Oh,
and
sorry,
fellow
I'm-
bamboo boy, Miinfin. Good luck on the run, man, and don't forget the leash.
If you didn't see Nori's run right before this, running Shantae, it was very entertaining, and Nori also being a great runner of this game. So always glad to see fellow runners out and about.
Yeah, nice to see the crew and the donations and stuff. We see you. So, welcome to the Tower of Tears, or Tower of Time Loss. The Tower of Time is horrifying. You can die everywhere, and all the strats are scary.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what skill level you have it at. This is a hard level, right here at the end of 8-bit. So it's earned its spot as kind of the boss level for 8-bit, where Glacial was kind of that like refreshing use of all your abilities. This is a stress inducer.
Yeah.
And because at each stage where you find yourself wanting to go faster and faster, it gets hard. So you hardly ever get comfortable in this.
They're on the same tile.
Oh, how random is that? Very.
I think some of the scariest parts of the strats in this stage are the uses of the damage boosts, and they're off of these lasers sometimes, which do the most damage in the game. Up to this point, spikes have been, the thing that does the most damage that do 3, but lasers do 4. So
Hey!
they're damage boosting through lasers.
No sticking
one,
into
by the
this
way.
time.
That's a really hard first cycle.
Your setup too is interesting because you actually come in. That's right. You don't do Hail Mary, so you come in with plenty of health to do laser skip.
And here's our first instance of skipping said lasers. As long as we have enough health, we can just go straight up this thing
That was a little scary.
with optimal rope dart climbing. Yeah, nice job.
There's
Even if I
there's a
have
4
5 health, I
version
still
of
go
it.
for French Connection because
I do not. I do not. So French Connection is it's kind of a 4 health equivalent where you do the same move, but you actually take damage from the spikes first, as they do less damage. But then you have to do that same climb, and I have found that, at least personally, be much more difficult.
It's
But
about
really cool.
you can use it to sort of skip the first laser, so it feels like you're really only through 3 lasers.
That's true.
But it's
That's
still hard.
So apparently you can
so
crystal
next
abuse
room.
that.
Yeah, so an interesting use of our big giant sword, we can actually hit things through the other side of walls, particularly using the slash jumping off of a wall. We can hit the other side of the wall.
I don't like that wizard room.
Yeah, Blizzard Room's awful. Especially because the last strat he did left him at 1 health. And there's 3 things that are shooting 9 total orbs at you. Yeah, don't die.
I mean, you haven't heard of the one-hit KO version of this, right?
No, don't do it. See the Wizrobes, I dislike them just for the pure RNG style. They're interesting enemies to have to deal with. Let's see this.
Oh, got it this time.
There you go. There you
Whoa,
go.
that's not how
Yeah.
lasers work, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, we will use it.
Thank you, game.
All right, coming into the final boss of our 8-bit trek here, the Arcane Golem, which is where we get to really see. We saw it a little bit already, but this is kind of where you really get to visualize one of the other uses of the rope dart for manipulating the game, which is overusing its iframes.
So this
You'll see it
boss
when
is intended to, with all these the ring around his neck, like, and the clap, like they really wanted to make sure you weren't just doing this. And they forgot that the iframes in the game are so actually ridiculous that it's just, you can just kind of combo this guy to death.
Great fight.
Nicely done.
Nah,
All right, so
And this
that's
would be the
8-bit.
end. Yeah, this would be the end of the 8-bit category. What we thought was the end of the game was actually just a test to see if we were worthy messenger. And now that we're the worthy messenger, we get the ability to travel through time, but we really just get a nice hat.
That's the important part.
And with said nice hat, I think would also be a good time for donating to the company.
All right, we have $20 from Cadence Ann. Good luck, Miinfin. The commentators are doing an amazing job as well.
Thank you.
We also
Very sweet,
have
Cadence.
a question from Norimaki SR in chat. Messenger one-hit KO Messenger randomizer when, Minos?
No.
Please, God, no.
Yeah. While it has been on hold for a bit as I finish up my degree, there actually is a alpha version of a randomizer for this game in development that I have been making. Yeah. It's out there and available for use, and there's details of it on our speedrun Discord as well as the modding Discord. I expect more to be done with it for sure. Had to slow down a bit on it as I finished the degree up.
Totally understandable.
Yeah.
I think I know what I'm looking up next.
It's a blast. It's a blast, and I'm gonna keep adding to it.
So speaking of blast, Kappa, this level, so fun. It's actually kind of a cool level. Some of the movement in here is pretty precise. There's lots of spikes, lots of pits. But the other reason that this level is not exactly very cool is, well, we haven't seen him yet, but our best friend Manfred, he's such a nice guy, but he's a little angry right now. He's being mind controlled, and so in a little bit we're gonna be seeing a bit of an auto scroller section.
Manfred's a sweetheart with a wholesome goal who just happens to be in with a bad crowd right now.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
like
just a young
seeing-
kid. He's just, he's impressionable.
Yeah, our favorite Sky Serpent here. I don't like seeing him in all these spikes in red. I prefer him in more of a light blue.
Yeah, he's pretty cute in that light blue.
Yeah.
And that smile. Whew.
Oh, so cute. But for now, we'll hang out with him on our first of 3 Manfred chases that we'll do in this stage.
And I said it was an auto scroller, but it's really actually not. It's an auto scroller that speedrunners prefer, where you can actually speed up that room by using your rope dart and optimally going through.
no,
That is a really hard climb.
You went for it.
I did.
That is a hard
okay.
cycle to skip.
Yeah,
but you
that-
skip the checkpoint.
You have to
when
in
you
order to
go
make
for
it.
that, you unfortunately skip that checkpoint right there.
You got to a chase, okay.
And yeah, so that's a really that's another one of those just like Scary Berry, except this one saves a lot more because the crusher's down for about a second. So either you save like a second and a half, or you lose.
A lot.
Mm-hmm. It just depends. Yeah, it always just depends on.
But
which
it's
spot you got.
always worth it.
we did get to meet a buddy of ours during that death sequence, Corporal, who's responsible for saving our life and allowing us to continue playing.
Yeah, our death mechanic he's a nice guy, The green demons are ultimately on the human side, but I mean, it's better than being on Barmathazel's demon army, I guess, I mean, he's just like stealing our money and like making fun of us every time we die, but it's okay. We appreciate him.
Yeah, we do appreciate him. It's a much different New Game Plus. This room,
Monka as ghosts.
this room is just a giant death pit with moving siren ghosts some cool
We got the
teleports,
teleport.
and it's death all around. And it's this is not my favorite level. I love the way it looks. I love the way it sounds. Original Shovel Please here, and it's
Yeah, great
just
song, but like,
hard.
oh god.
It's just hard. And Manfred, we love him to death, is probably one of the more challenging bosses of this game, especially the
Final
newer
boss,
come-
basically.
yeah, the newer runners especially. It's a tough fight, and it is a very punishing death if you don't make it through the fight, or if you die during the fight, because the fight can get long. And we'll talk a bit more about the fight when we get there. But I would say that red bundle of joy is probably why most folks just love running 8-bit and stopping there.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't mind Manfred as bad if there wasn't a such thing as Balfred, which we'll get to a little later. But essentially, it's something that completely trivializes the fight, and it's something that is really hard to set up. And we go for it every time, but you're not going to get it every time. If Balfred didn't exist, I wouldn't mind Manfred.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. A little drippy ghost here in the car wash. Boop. Just allow us to keep going. So we've got a choice to make coming up. We've got our third Manfred chase here. We're going to be hanging out with a red Kappa friend of ours who's going to run along with us. And we as runners always try to make that choice in the moment. Do we rope dart this little guy who's just minding his own business to get that extra speed, or do we let him live and run alongside with him?
And this is the save or kill the animals incentive for for this game. It's actually the devs put lore for this guy. If he survives this fall, or pardon me, if he survives making it to the jump, he survives the fall, and actually ends up becoming the the collectible red Kappa that you receive later in the game.
Woo!
And his little excerpt says he got a little lost in the Cloud Ruins, and we don't know how.
I think it winds up at Coolshroom or something. If I remember
I think
correctly.
that's
I
right.
can't remember.
So here we go.
All right.
Hopefully, pray for Balfred. We basically have to be right in Manfred's face, a little offset by a pixel.
Oh! There was a setup, but he was able to break out, so we do the fight normally. But you got a couple of hits in beforehand. If the position was, I think, just a little bit lower there, but essentially perfect, right? As we are always in runs. If the positioning is perfect, then Manfred will stay there, never move, and you just keep rope dart hitting it until he dies.
Yeah, now we're gonna see Miinfin attempt to juggle Manfred. Hopefully, no, I don't want Manfred.
Not the other way around.
Yeah. Let's not have Manfred juggle me, please.
Yeah. Juggling is a tough skill and probably the most important thing to learn in this fight. You can learn the Balfred setup, you can try to get it, but you have to just understand you're not going to get it every time. And when you don't, you need to know how to juggle, which is hitting him when he's coming at you. You make the hit, you hit him too fast, he kind of ignores your hit. You hit him too slow, and it's slow, right? It's not fast, and you end up going off the screen. Great fight. But when you hit him, he kind of ducks up or down, depending on his position on the screen. And you can almost cut a line in the middle of the screen to know which direction he's going to go.
Yeah.
The end of that fight can control you. When he does that fireball phase, you can just throw a couple shurikens to try to hit him before those fireballs appear. But he is actually shooting a fireball on screen before you can see him. So he will still actually block your shuriken sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hey, remember that guy that we saw before? Yeah, he's important. He wants to fight us now.
Did you know
that
that you can actually? Did you know you can actually teleport off his fireballs?
Well, huh?
Yep.
Manfred's fireballs you can technically teleport off of, and it is possible. Do not do it. It has never, in my experience, been worth it. It has led to more deaths than it has successful fights. But it is possible.
I've accidentally teleported on Manfred himself sometimes, like when the last part of his body is leaving the screen, but I've never seen that before.
That's right.
So here we have Underworld, which is kind of similar to the Tower of Time in that it's a heavy execution stage. Everything can kill you here, but you get to jam to this sick song. So
Get the jam. Yeah, it happens to be the song that was playing at the end of Ninja Village when we first started the game, but it's a 16-bit version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just great jam, and a really cool level. And you know, with all the levels, Underworld, I think you kind of spend the least amount of time in. It's
Yeah, that's true.
I like it. You just have to avoid the
It's always
lava
a
and
short
the
and sweet
fast,
level.
the
But
fast flowing lava. You
it's-
can do that.
It's short, but there's still plenty of obstacles to make it not feel short.
That's true. Yeah, and Destiny
Just
pretty,
for safety.
tough. There you go.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's just touch that. This way.
For a lot of the runners, in this next room, that Fonta down there, that fast flowing lava down there, actually rises. I can tell you, it's supposed to be rising, and you're jumping away, trying to not get hit by the slow rising lava. After you run for a while, you kind of forget that's true.
Yeah.
I was actually
this is
doing-
just a really cool vertical climb level, and then you
Yeah,
like
I was-
put your controller down to like, you know,
Exactly.
crack your knuckles or something, and you I died. There's Fanta here.
Yeah, I was doing some random research a while back, and I had stayed in that room to check something, and the lava came up and killed me. And I thought, oh, that's right, that's a thing.
Yeah. We just move faster than it can.
Great catch. Hitting the stalactites as we go into the boss chamber for the Demon General.
And we can pretty much combo this guy to death. His first attack is always the same, and then after this particular attack, he attempts to go all around the room, but based on your positioning, he'll jump between a particular set of walls. Nice, really nice corner. And now we get to just kind of stun lock him with these shurikens, because he attempts to block it, but then his animation is sort of reset. So we just get to pump into him.
Great
And that would
fight.
be GG linear.
Yeah. So if we were doing a linear run, we would stop right here, timer would stop, and we'd say, good job, and go our separate ways. But we're doing any percent.
Yeah.
This is when the game starts.
Yeah. Now it goes from a linear game to a Metroidvania game, and we get the ability to traverse back into the previous levels that we've already gone to, with now in 8-bit versus 16-bit, with past versus future versions of them. But before that, we get this amazing cutscene, longest cutscene in the game, perfect time for donations.
All right, we have $100 from Space Nerd. Donating during a messenger run has become kind of a tradition for me. Godspeed Messenger, Godspeed Min.
Space.
Base start.
And with that, So I would like to make a few announcements. The first is that we have raised over $7,800 combined between our two events, VGMCon Online and Midspring Speedfling. That is more than 3/4 of the way towards our $10,000 goal towards those two events. Let's go! I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe in you as well. Manfred believes in you. Him and his
We can
blue and his
do it.
hearts. He believes.
Corvo believes too. He just also wants your money.
He's a little more selfish, but his heart's there.
Let's see if we can hit 8K by the end of this event, or by the end of this this run. That's not far off.
I think we can too. If everybody
another
donates
hour.
just one, it's easy.
So I in particular would like to see us raise 8K by the end of this run, and especially before the beginning of the next run, because Mr. Shasta, the next runner, has said that he will wear his gamer cap if we manage to raise $8,000 before the start of the next run. So let's see if we can get that 8K.
Let's do it.
Donate now. This must happen. So what if you notice what's happening here? The first cutscene or the first text box that the shopkeeper tells you, he says, "Now you'll come to appreciate that this game has all been a loop." So you gave your scroll to someone else. They go on to be the messenger, and now you've become the shopkeeper. Unfortunately, you're the worst shopkeeper of all time, and you didn't give the new messenger, that thing that transcends death and time, Corbo, that really cool guy. Yeah, we're supposed to give that to him. So he's dead now. So we need to go be the messenger again, unfortunately.
Yeah, now,
we just accidentally killed a member of our own. Oopsie.
To be fair, there's no shopkeeper handbook. No one told us.
He didn't
that-
tell us what to do. Yeah,
Yeah,
he just
he
was
just
like,
gave us the
have
rope."
fun. Finally, I get to leave.
That's basically put this rope on, stand here, bye.
Yeah. Poor Shoppy. Like he was trying his best, but ultimately he just wanted to break, and you messed it up so poorly that you just made him really upset. But here he tries to make it up to you. He's like, by the way, you should probably use their map. And he make characters
What
like
map?
What map? Yeah, you remember that scroll that we gave you that was like really important? You know, like the fate of the world hinges on that thing. Yeah, you should have read that. That was your map. He forces you to look at it and he leaves. It's really funny because it's supposed to be like his moment of like clarity where he's like, you know what? He messed up, but whatever. Like, just, you know, go do the thing. Like, good luck. And you messed that part up too. He's just fed up with it. He's like, whatever. I'll be in my shop. So now we're heading back to the Searing Crags area. Now that we're done with that particular portion, and we get to see sort of a couple of the levels backwards. But the first thing, just kidding, we're not going to Searing Crags. I'm all stopped up. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do the leash again, except this
Without
time,
falling into spikes.
This time we're gonna go through a lot more rooms than just one. So this particular area can be kind of scary without the rope dart, considering this is Glacial Peak, the place that you were supposed to spam the rope dart. So getting back to the area that we want to bring this Wizrobe is a little annoying sometimes, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, and it's real nice. We can see, you can see a bit of how this enemy works.
This is bad.
The randomness. Oh,
Where did my
right,
speed go?
The leash.
the leash is still there. As long as the rope dart wasn't used.
Mm-hmm. As long as we put him on screen, then he is good.
Yeah, because
Yep,
we can
we're
hear the
good.
sound effects, so we know he's there.
There we go.
So you can see the randomness that is a Wizrobe in this particular gauntlet. The way Wizrobes work is they, at the moment of their teleport, actually pick a random teleportable location. Oh boy. Oh no. We'll try again. They pick a random teleportable location within the bounds of the camera. And that's where they're going to go. So that's about as much control as you have over this enemy. We can bring them to where we need to with the camera, but after that, it's up to them where they choose to be. Sometimes right in the way,
Like so.
and then sometimes not. So
Yeah, he most of the time will get in your way. And
Fun part is he's not
as long
dead.
as we hit him once, he's not dead. He just got stunned. He has 2 HP. So you can actually hit him out of your way, but you can kill him, particularly in this room, accidentally, where you'll hit him once to stun him while he's in the air, and then he falls on the spikes and dies. So there's a lot of ways for that part to go wrong. But
yeah, if he dies, you got to run all the way back to that room and pick him up again.
But now we're through the worst of it, and we're coming up to the room that we've been trying to bring him to this whole time, which is our boy Manfred. He got a little cold, so
And he at least was nice after trolling me. Great
yeah,
spot.
And again, the Wizard's position will be random when you enter this room. So it's nice that our first position for him was something that we could hit. So usually you have to wait for his projectile, but he gives a nice little claw step. So now we've done making friends, and we move on to the next part of the run, which is a pretty large sequence break, and the reason that this whole route is the way it is. This particular stage ends up giving you so much money that we do it first whenever we gain access to the Metroidvania section, just so that we have access to the Kusari jacket, which is one of the most useful things in the game. It's essentially an upgrade that makes us take 1 less damage from all incoming sources, as long as it is not less than 1. And that is super, super useful, taking as many damage boosts as we want, as well as there is a particular strat coming up where we're kind of basically ramming our face into a bunch of spikes. So we need health. But we'll get to that when we get there. For now,
It's a
we have
really
Elemental
long
Skylands.
split. It's a really long split. But yeah, a lot of money. Elemental Skylands. We start off with the Air Skylands. Our whole goal here, if we didn't cover it was in the Metrovania part, we have 6 notes that we need to acquire in order to open up the music box to beat the game. And so we're here to pick up a musical note that the Clockwork Concierge is holding on to, which is the boss of the stage. So we're coming to pay a visit, but in order to get to him, we need to lower a couple of elemental shields to make our way there. So that was our first one, the air. And now we're on our way to the earth.
And the air Skyland is, pretty straightforward. You just do it the intended way. But the Earth Skyland is kind of cool. There's a little bit of a sequence break coming up there. This is one of the they like to put a lot of puzzle rooms in these Metroidvania sections where you're supposed to go back and forth between 8-bit and 16-bit and go to different rooms in order to gain a certain a different access to a certain area at a different time. But we don't do any of that. We skip sequence break about, I think it's probably about 2 minutes worth of this next area.
I'd say so.
But
Yeah.
but in between each Skyland, we get a nice little auto scroller section where we get to just kind of mash things.
And Dragon Jam when we can.
Yeah. These are, unlike what we're talking about with Manfred's chases, these are auto scrollers. There's really nothing to do to speed these up. So in those times, all you're just trying to doing is maximizing the amount of time charts you can pick up. So we'll come through here and we got our...
Hey, it didn't fall off this time.
Here.
And here's the infamous puzzle room right here, and we see you later. And this damage moves straight up the wall.
And
What
skip
puzzle?
a majority of the Skyland.
And I
It's,
believe that's the only sequence break in this category. Although the out of bounds clips into this room pretty crazily as well. This entire Elemental Skylands is pretty insane and out of bounds.
Out of bounds is just crazy anyway.
Yeah,
Out of bounds is crazy. Yeah, the full any percent. It gets wild.
Yeah, if you haven't seen an any percent out of bounds run, you should definitely check it out. It's nuts. But this is just as fun because we do more stuff. Except
So
you get
there's
to
not
see
much-
the ninja because he's in bounds.
Yeah. There's not much
Yeah.
at the moment, but if I'm seeing chat right, do we have anything that's brought us up to where we need to? Did we reach that goal?
We did indeed reach that goal, thanks to a couple donations as well as one from the VGMCon side.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Shasta, I hope you got your gamer hat ready.
Nice. Good stuff, chat.
Let's go.
You guys came through. Hey.
Would it be alright if I read those donations?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alright, we have $5 from this AWP. Let's get that gamer hat, MWSF. We have an anonymous $100 donation. Shoutouts to the Bamboo Crew. And we also have $50 from our current restreamer, Moonblaze Wolf, who says, Gamer Alert.
Nice.
The Bamboo Crew is so great. Every member is just a cherish. And here we're going to have another sequence break where we're supposed to change the time and do all sorts of shenanigans, but jump up into that room backwards, and now it's done. Sorry I lied, chat. There was one more.
Yeah, that one's a little bit smaller. Just a small optimization for getting around that corner faster instead of having to go back and forth in that room. All right, that's 3 Skylands down.
And now we have
One to go.
the biggest shard farming auto-scroller section. We're
So, I found some people asking me, like, hey, I really want to run the messenger, but I also want a section of the game that is, like, minor bullet helly and also, like, requires a lot of mashing. And I told them, oh, you gotta try any percent, because Skyland gives you a majority of that. Definitely the mashing part. So,
yeah, oh, you want to play some Toho? Just head on
The,
over to the Elemental Skylands.
Yeah, there actually is not much of a delay or buffer on, well, a delay on the fireballs that Manfred shoots out, so you can buffer them pretty quickly, and they essentially fire about as fast as you can mash.
And they actually fire twice as fast as you can mash, as long as you do the cadence right, because it works just like Star Fox, where when you press the button and when you release the button, it creates a shot. So you can actually sort of save your thumb. You don't have to mash as fast as possible. You can press and release at the right time.
Tell that to the German runners.
We still like mashing. Mashing's fun.
Mashing can be fun. Mashing hurts.
Until you've mashed for too long, then mashing's awful.
Yeah, your third any percent run of the day for practice. And you're like, there's gotta be a better way.
If you die on this upcoming boss, man, oh man, do I need a cup of water?
Oh,
Not you, I mean me as a runner. If I've mashed that much, my hands can't take it. So we're coming up to the last version, or last portion of the Elemental Skylands, and nothing really going on in the Fire Skyland. Just kind of clean movement.
It's really minor, but the Fire Skylands itself is actually a little bit more challenging in the way Miinfin's doing it, just because we're missing an upgrade.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That would make it a little more safe. But when you got runners like Miinfin, you don't need it. You can work around it. Okay, so here comes the boss. So keep an eye on it. We have 3 phases we need to get through.
Yeah, Clockwork Concierge usually spawns a whole bunch of craziness on screen, but nice. We skip the first cycle by basically deleting his head before he even does anything.
You go through some hard hits, and then back to it again. Now you'll kind of see a bit about what this boss can throw at you, which is the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a kitchen sink.
He quite literally throws literally everything at you, and then more.
Yeah.
I think there's like 6 or 7 enemies on screen. And then there's missiles, and then there's small things, and then there's big ones too. Oh god, it's just...
So we just kind of hang out near his face, because that's a pretty nice safe spot where the missiles are the only thing to worry about at that point.
There we go.
Got the free cycle, nicely done.
And there it is. That's the fight.
And now we get to shake our hands out and be like, yay, no more men.
Manfred gets to share his love for butlering, and they get to kind of swap those details. And but Manfred, I'm sure, will come back and learn the ways of butlering.
It's quite a beautiful conversation. Manfred's like, "Oh my gosh, can I be your apprentice?" And the Clockwork Concierge is like, "Yeah, okay, well, you can be my apprentice. You need to work on your language a little bit, though." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
We need a Manfred sprite with like a little like bow tie,
with a top hat and a monocle.
Top hat and a bow tie.
Please and thank you. Please and thank you.
Yes, we do.
Clockwork Manfred. Or the Manfred Concierge. Yeah. So
I can't stop seeing that now.
we picked up a musical note there. That's the note of symbiosis, or the key of symbiosis, and that is our first of 6 that you would see us pick up. Or it would be if we actually hadn't done that Crag's leash at the beginning of the run, which actually had us mysteriously pick up another note, skipping the entire need to go through and get it normally. So that was the strength note in Crag's that we already have. So we actually have 2 notes and only 4 more to go.
Yep.
So the name of the game is Get the Notes.
Hey, remember those guys? Yeah, well, they were waiting for us. Turns out we're a bad messenger. We were supposed to go find a flower, and then it was supposed to bloom. It was bloomed right next to their dead bodies. They really wanted us to return the flower, but we didn't do that. So they're dead now.
Yeah,
but that's okay. We can time travel, so it's fine. Still alive.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Because of the Crag's leash, it's not necessary to save them anymore. So sorry, guys.
Poor guys.
Y'all are not as important as you used to be. Although, you still get to see that particular section, because we have a category section called Second Quest, which runs strictly the Metroidvania part.
True.
Mm.
That's true. It's kind of a newer category that's coming out. Folks have been just wanting to run the Metroid version of it, with having to do the 8 and linear portion. So
Yeah.
seeing
I'm
that
starting
grow
to
in
like it as
popularity.
well.
Definitely something I want to check out because this is a favorite section of mine in the game, which is the longer second half.
Mm-hmm. Because there's so many things going on, as opposed to just like the 8-bit and linear portions are very optimized and very interesting in their own. There's so much more going on in the 80%, which really only happens in the latter half. So.
All right, we're gonna get on this
We're
tree
going to
here.
go for hopefully this one tile. That's okay. This setup is free.
Sniping.
On top of this, the name of my split here is Stupid Tree for a good reason. You spend way more time in that room than you think you should.
Shout out to Big K for that backup. I love that backup.
Yeah, it's a really cool backup.
So that is our third note. That's the hope note that we have picked up here. And now that we are done with that, we are halfway through our note collection already. It may seem that way, but we've picked up the easy ones. We have harder ones coming
The rest of them are not that.
Yeah, they're a little more involved, including the last one, which we'll get into in a little bit. Making a quick pit stop here for some health upgrades.
And that was the upgrade that we just purchased was the health upgrade and the Kusari jacket earlier, which is making us take one less damage from all incoming sources. So now we get to ram our face into all the things and die like slightly less.
Yep. So now we're heading on to our fourth note, which is hidden under the waves. We're heading over there right now. You got to get to Grotto to make your way to the underwater maze. Find your way through it to get down to the sunken shrine.
Yeah, and the underwater maze is a cool little section where it's basically the Lost Woods, except it's underwater. And the game has like a little item that you can, like a little sub quest that you can do. That you'll receive an item that shows you where to go in this maze, but it's always the same. So we just memorize the path and we take the path. I always appreciate the 16-bit version of this song. This song is so good.
So good. Hey. So that's
actually go ahead. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that hey is actually kind of like it's all the devs of the game who with their haze kind of put together, and you hear it in multiple different songs in the game, which has spawned a little meme category of ours called Hey %, which just requires you to hear all the haze in the game.
I have not ever seen you miss that. Teleport into Tide Gate. That was well done. So here's top right, down left, top of bottom right, down left, right, down.
I have to. There's things that I can remember, and this route is not one of them. I have to write it down and look every time. I can remember the layout of Dark Cave, and I enjoy running through it. And it's so much fun. But Underwater Maze, I just can never remember. I have to.
The reason actually that I've memorized it is because I've been in so many people's chats, particularly Belial, where he's learning the category and he's like, "Hey guys, what's the route?" And then I have to find it and I put it in his chat. So I'm doing that a bunch of times. I know.
That'll do it.
So now we've triggered this save point here, and we're going to go for the whole reason this route exists. It's called Backdoor Tabby. And oh my god, he got it so fast! Now we have to go for this movement here, which is pretty nice.
Got it, boys!
And he got it.
Great backdoor
Oh, that's
tabby.
So good.
Oh my god, that was so fast.
That skips an entire third of this stage.
Yeah, we just saved a minute and a half.
Oh,
no
that's
joke.
So good. That is a relatively new trick, and it is hard. That getting that height is actually not as obvious as you'd imagine. It's very precise cloud stepping to get the height necessary to even make that, and then afterwards,
it's almost a one tile to even get the height necessary to be up there, and then you have to one tile on the actual wall to get up there, and that's not even the rest of it. Then you have to make sure you use your damage boost properly through that section so that you don't die in the spike. So, yeah, that skip is pretty rough.
Yeah, which is why I took that.
Yeah. Only by having everything in place as it is right now. We're talking about the amount of health you have, the damage reduction, all of that is the only way it's even possible, which is why the route is the way it is. And then you have to play perfect. of course, right, as a lot of these tricks are, just play perfect every time, so that you only take 2 damage in that first room, so you can take the 3rd damage in the final room.
Well, that is a shout out to Grand, because he's the one that actually, like, while he was learning the 80% category, found out how to do that between him and Kyle Berry, and they're the reasons that this new route exists.
Oh, it's so good.
Wow.
And I believe that skill is also usable for a, I guess a leash skip, right? Because technically
Leashless
you can
Manfred.
use that particular skill to do Leashless Manfred.
Oh.
Something I wish to practice sometime. Because if there's one thing I do not like, it's learning how and dealing with a leashed Wizrobe. If I can ever not deal with it, it'd be great.
That's so true.
I
Now
love
here,
the setup in this room.
this is a really, really cool unit we get to go for here. And it's really scary, particularly if you do one of the damage boosts earlier in the stage, where you'll be left here with 3 health, and by doing the damage boost right there, you'd be at 1. And you need to hit that time in the corner there, and there's like 7 things on the way that can kill you. So, it's a really nice job. But he went for the smarter play to keep his health high. See, this is why he's a good runner.
So let's see, we finished the sun side and got the sun crest, and now we're on this side grabbing the moon crest, which is going to give us access to the door in that main area that holds the note that we need. So that is what we're doing here right now. The entire stage being just one massive reference at this point for us to the next game that Sabaton is actually making, that I'm very excited for.
Yes, I cannot wait.
Setting up.
See, it starts to go so good. Nice
It is.
beats.
It is. I'm excited for it.
And that's
It'll probably
that,
be
I
the
think
very
that's our
first
longest
RPG
beat
I'll ever
up to
run,
this
too.
point.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, same here.
Yeah. Oh, that right there.
I guess technically Blue Steel that we saw in the repeat of Autumn Hills can be pretty long, because you can actually carry it through that tree in that room. But I think that's like the most common long beat for the at least up to this point. But don't worry, there's more.
Oh, there's more and longer. I'm
Yeah.
excited for one in particular. All right, we got them both, and now we'll go into a pretty long cutscene here in a little bit. While we stare at what is confirmed to be Ninja's back. That does exist. You never get to see it except in this cutscene and then in the DLC. But it does exist. So we'll sit through this cutscene, which is a little long, and good time for any other announcements or donations.
So I would like to remind everyone that we do currently have a big war going on for the Final Fantasy character names. That is coming up later this afternoon. You have the option of donating to name the Warrior, the Thief, the Black Mage, and the White Mage. Currently, Friend is in the lead for the Warrior name with $5. Bamboo is in the lead with $100 for the Thief name. Shout out to Bamboo Boys. We have Gamer in the lead for the Black Mage name with $50, and we currently do not have any names for the White Mage. So if you would like to see something for the White Mage name, put your donation towards that incentive.
Yeah, please do. White Mage leads up too. You really can't make it through a good run without your healer.
That's so true.
Healers
Healers are the most important part of the party. Yeah. They're essential workers.
So we picked up our 4th note, which is the note of
God,
love.
we got both of them!
Oh, so good.
So what just happened there is whenever you're in the wingsuit and you touch and you approach a body of water, specifically a one-tile body of water, you have about 1 frame where Ninja touches the water and is in the swim animation before he stands up. And in that 1 frame, you can input both attack and jump to get a swim boost off of that. And really nice teleport. God, this man's hitting everything.
I love those teleports. Teleport's one of my favorite tech. By
Yeah,
far.
it looks so cool, and it's so simple, too. It's just slash rope dart. Or kunai rope dart. I mean, shuriken.
So we're popping out of here. At this point now, we're going to be doing a lot of backtracking. We're going to be going through pretty much an entire reverse of Bamboo, Umab, to pick up another Phobican and get it set up for a couple of other things that we're going to need. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Is head backwards through the Bamboo, You'll see the entire thing reversed in 8-bit. Won't be seeing it in 16-bit. But it's kind of neat to come back to this stage that you saw with more upgrades and doing it completely backwards.
It's also really cool that you get to feel like the music sort of ramp back up, because like when you left this area, it slowly faded back out, and when you come back, it slowly fades back in. Just one of the amazing parts of the sound design that I've come to appreciate in this game.
You got to hear it for just a second. When we come back through for a little bit, you get to hear the 16-bit version of the song. It is so good.
And I don't know if you noticed just there, Miinfin actually clipped into the block trying to get into this area. That is not considered out of bounds. The out of bounds category is defined by clipping into a static boundary. So anything that's basically can't be moved or can't be hit. So luckily, we get to use that to our advantage and clip into things that we can break or move, like crushers. And then here we get to see just kind of how trivial bamboo is backwards.
Yeah, it can be. And with the rope dart.
Yeah.
So we're coming back to, we picked up Claustro, our second of 4. And now we are heading back to Catacombs. We need to say hi to our buddy Ruxin. We haven't talked to him in a while. Not since we beat him on his own platform.
Yeah, not since we set him straight. He after that fight, he said, "You know what? I shouldn't be. I'll use my power to help you." And so he basically used his magical abilities to determine where some of the things that we need are for later in the game. So he's basically a big plot device, but it's okay. We love him.
We do. Him and his short legs.
I always love that. Why is his robe so huge?
He definitely does not have a complex.
He does not fit in that robe, though.
And
it's okay.
Yeah, also really funny reference in the DLC too. You can tell how bad it is.
Oh,
in Picnic Panic. So funny.
Yeah, the lore for Ruxton is that he's an adopted skeleton, adopted by 2 octopi. He's got a strange family.
There we go.
They're so sweet though, except when they're not.
They are. They're sweet. Yeah, they kind of. But you know, they put they do the heart thing, and it's adorable. And
it is adorable.
They put their tentacles together like a heart. It's quite cute.
Set up for it.
You're gonna try to go for a yeet. Nice. That yeet's really hard. Because trying to swim in one tile of water can be quite difficult.
Frame perfect eats. Who loves them?
Me.
I do.
All right.
So now we're back
in the future.
Except his magic ran out, so he gave us basically the ability to wield his staff and his amulet, which gives us the ability to wield staff. And he tells us also the next part of the dialogue is that the next area that we need to go to is hidden in this area in a very, very dark portion of it. So we need to go find that. And that's where we're headed next.
Easily my favorite section.
Yep.
Oh, I love this. I love this. So we're going to be going through Dark Cave, which is our almost completely blind stage that we're going to run. You would typically, in the game, go through a series of subquests in order to get the true sight.
It's just an ordinary wax candle.
It's just an ordinary wax candle. It's true light in the rooms that you can traverse it. But not unlike the underwater maze, the level is static. There isn't really anything that moves in there. So it's fairly simple to learn the pathing and then to just kind of go with it. You have a few visual cues, but for the most part, you're just memorizing. You know, it's muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool to see, and it's a lot of fun to do.
And a lot of runners do it quite differently, actually. There's lots of little things that people use for their setups in here that differ from runner to runner, but everybody's got their way to get through it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite examples when looking at a stage of, there's a difference between trying to be optimal and in a stage like what we're about to go through, being comfortable.
Right.
You need to have your comfort level in a run so that you're comfortable doing it. So even if you don't go for what might be or not be optimal movement, what's not optimal is dying.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this room would not be possible. Didn't see those air, like straight up. Those air vents are the reason that this room like comes together.
Yeah, you can see the door here, which kind of gives you a sense, and then when you're coming through here, this first section you figure out, but then afterwards you start to see these air vents.
Yeah,
that's how you know where to
float.
Like,
oh, I'm here.
Without those, that would make this much more challenging.
And rest assured, there are pits and spikes literally everywhere in this.
It's 1, 2.
Darts. 1, 2, jump.
Looking for. Okay, he's waiting. So there's a series of platforms and other lanterns. Almost made it. There's a wall here for the rope part too.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, good. This is a hard section when you can't see it, and kill you is around you.
And yeah, there's a, as 70 was saying, there's so many ways to skin this dark cat, and you're sticking the way Miinfin prefers to do it, and it's a hard stage. It is hard, and when you finish it, it at least to me is very satisfying. So close.
It's like I'm not getting a max height off that lantern. I practiced this earlier and it was just fine.
It's a huge, huge death pit right there that he's trying to float over. So we're gonna try through again. You see him floating in the middle of that air vent because there's spikes on both sides, and then this air vent's to get on top of a platform. Ooh. If you miss the first lantern like you did, you have an opportunity to spin back around, which is good. So there's a lantern. He's hitting the platforms.
There we go.
There it is. All right, so he's through the hard parts. He's gonna do a bounce here, a bounce here, and we're into room 2. It gets a little simpler after this. Do a little bit of counting, and you start climbing through.
Here is making sure you get to that right wall, that first right wall.
And then you can see how Min's a little more comfortable with this room, that he actually knows the height to be to throw the shuriken to hit the crystal to start the timer. And we're done. Let's start cave.
Whew. Yeah, we can see again.
Oh,
now we're on to Riviere Turquoise. This stage is... Well, there's a lot of cool things that happen in this stage, but it's a beautiful stage, don't get me wrong. But this stage is brutal.
Stage is brutal, and it's pretty, which is a very dangerous combination.
Do you know how they say in nature you should stay away from like the pretty things? That's the guess.
Yeah.
Rings true here, for sure. This is a stage of challenging tricks and puzzles, of which we will do almost none of them.
Mostly none of them, yeah.
Yeah, the puzzles part. The puzzles part, not the strats part. There's a lot of strats we will do.
Oh yes. My apologies. And thank you to the damage boost Kusari jacket upgrade. We can just sort of jump through that section and sort of not care about the spikes. But now we're left at pretty scary life total right here in this room in particular.
In previous routes, we didn't have that option because you didn't do Skylands until later. So that wasn't an option. You had to do the
you had to go to the cannon
in that room. Floating through. Oh, that's scary. And then this part, you just got to be careful on.
Ooh, we went for the YOLO rope dart.
Good.
Oh my goodness.
So we're coming into a log room here, which casually I don't remember thinking much about, but as a runner, beats me more oftentimes than not.
It's such a simple, like, because it's like, as a speedrunner, you want to go as fast as possible. You don't want to jump and land on these platforms and have to wait for them. But, like, as a casual, you're just like, yeah, okay, I'll land on the log and it's fine, you know? There's nothing wrong with the room. But, so here, we get to see one of the biggest yeets in the whole game. We're going to use this bird to our advantage here.
Alright, I'm going to reset something up because him hitting me kind of threw me off.
There it is.
Really important here. Nice.
Alright, so this is one of the coolest yeets. Goes from one room to another room and into the third room to get all the way to that side.
still not
gets you
over.
set up really well for further movement in this room, and depending, that was really good. That's what you hope for. And then depending on your health and comfort level, you can try to get that momentum going to go through this next section. Probably doing a bit of damage boosting to get through fast. But what Miinfin pulled off is exactly what you hope for.
Nice.
You want to
And
make
he
it
went
to that
for
section.
the one damage boost right at the end there too. That was optimal as heck.
Very good. Now we're in the puzzle section, where we'll do almost none of them. A lot of sections here, we have these bulbs you're supposed to pop into and then hit these flowers into certain directions so that you go. We're not going to do that, except in this room, where,
The only
as
one that's required.
as people would say in our community, just do the
Do
puzzle.
the puzzle.
Just do the puzzle. You just need to flip each bottom flower once, and then they're good to go to hop in the bulb. And we have to do that because of the next room. It just has a long pit that will kill you. There's no damage boosting through that.
It's the blue
We
Phantom.
have- yeah, it's a blue Fanta. Blueberries. Alright, so we're through that. We have a really tough strat coming up.
I'm just gonna go for the backup. Well, if I
Okay,
wouldn't get hit.
TMR skip is a little bit of a troll here.
Oh no!
I would have gone for the
Bird, why?
backup.
So we're basically using a damage boost in conjunction with multiple cloud steps from these two birds in order to sort of sequence break this time puzzle. Yeah, the birds don't exactly go the way that you but that's okay. There's many ways to back up this section.
Oops. The strat is not free by any means.
No,
There's
not at
so
all.
much that has to go right for it to work. And you kind of get your own way of feeling comfortable with it. But there's backups on it too. Miinfin nailing one of the backups for it. All you gotta do is if you can get to that platform, you can do the rest of it.
Yeah.
But ideally, you would have rope darted the second bird through that time change and then use that momentum to get all the way over. But when you can't, you gotta think on your feet, and that's the way to do it.
So here we have the butterfly matriarch, who is the gimmick for this boss is that it changes time sort of halfway between each phase, and when it changes time, it shows you where the platforms are. Or sorry, not changes time. There's a firefly that shows you where the platforms are in this area. But if you know where the platforms are, you can just jump on them like that. So this boss is a lot about getting the right amount of hits on it and then following it off screen, trying to pump damage into it when you can't see it. So I think Miinfin did a pretty good job there, and hopefully we'll be able to get a 2-cycle here if we can land on the platforms. Nice.
Well,
Just
I
kidding.
did.
This part's awful.
Okay.
Gonna go for
Alright, so we went off screen. So we'll see the third room. An ideal fight there would have, as the Batterfly is changing in that last section, the death will happen. Very similar to that, but in the second room. The two major skills you work on for this fight is knowing the platform locations and learning the interesting mechanic it is to actually follow the Moth the Bat up out of the screen. Watch
yeah,
yourself.
because she oh no, you oh my god, you died. Just kidding, it was faster. We hate cannons. We don't like taking cannons.
Cannons are slow. Now we are done with that. We've got our fairy bottle, as it's referred to internally, but it's our little magic fairy that is required for a single room in this game. It actually has more uses that we do not use it for through a lot of the skips that we've done. Hello, Pyro. Our third
Yeah,
focus.
Pyro, our pal or lover boy, he's a nice guy.
He is a nice guy. So we'll pick up Pyro. That is our third Phobican of the 4 that we're going to need for this run.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pick up the 4th in a little bit. But first, we're going to do our Underworld revisit. It
Except
ain't
now we have the ability to walk on lava, so it's like not as bad, right?
bad. Except for
Kappa.
yeah. So in
Even
the
though we
section
can walk on lava, there's still
with
that
the
stuff right there.
yeah,
which we
you got that
usually don't
fast
do.
flowing Fanta right there. It is too hot. Do not drink it.
And even though it's a shorter version of the 16-bit revisit is a shorter visit than the first time, it's easier in the beginning, but then the last couple of rooms
What?
can really punish you.
Oh, lava. Why?
Also, the Ninja Tabby only works if you're constantly moving. So if you have to like readjust your thumb or something when you're walking on lava, happens to me all the time, by the way. You will die in the lava. So
Yeah, immediately sink.
not uncommon.
That was just one of those things of like, cool.
We just wanted a Fanta bath.
We just wanted to.
It looked yummy.
Yeah, so the second half, as 70 was saying, is when things kind of ramp up a little bit. This room is known to eat jumps like that second to last one did.
And
You
this
can tell
particular
from the
room
process
is awful. That you can actually damage boost off of the first saw in this room, and then after you've damage boosted, you have to determine which side you've damage boosted on, and then hold that direction and get a 1 tile off of the wall on that side. So needless to say, that is a really rough strat, but it saves like 12 seconds, and it makes all the runners really mad that none of us can hit it.
Yeah, it's one of those strats that you like. Man, I wish this didn't exist. Cause I wish I didn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to go for it because it makes you skip the checkpoint. But it's so fast that you kind of don't have a good reason not to.
Exactly.
If you're going for
if you're
going
pushing for world
record
record times, or yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you kind of have to try, and when you try and mess it up, which is likely, you either have to reset the room to help with the cycles, or die.
Nah, you don't have to try
Most
because
usually just die.
yeah.
Nope.
All right, we're picking up our 5th note here, the note of chaos. Grabbing that, and we only have 1 left, the most complex one to get. So let me see if I can walk through this right. So the final note, the note of courage, is sitting in a corrupted version of the future. And in order to get there, we need 2 items. We're going to need that fairy we got earlier in order to make a way inside the corrupted future for us. And we're going to need a crown from the Demon King in order to open the door. To get to the Demon King that's hiding in Forlorn Temple, we need all 4 Phobikins. You can kind of see how this flows. And to get our last Phobikin, we had to come up here to Cloud Ruins, which required us to go meet Ruxton to get his amulet. A long chain that we did kind of out of order to be as fast as possible.
And now that we get back to this area, we get to appreciate its 8-bit glory. Every time I come back to this area, it feels like I'm in like Wily 2 in like Mega Man 8 or 9 or something. Like the hype of this particular track just always pumps me up.
I mentioned on our first visit to Cloud Ruins, that's not my favorite level. That I do not share that feeling with the 8-bit. I really like this level in 8-bit. I love the aesthetic and the sound. And the challenge is different. It's hard. This is a hard stage. But I really like it in the revisit.
Here we're making sure that we've got... go ahead and take that crystal to make sure we have the right time shard count, because our next upgrade is going to be, I believe it's 1,000, right?
Yep. Well, that gets the last 3. I am a little short, to be honest. I don't know if I will actually hit it by the end of the level. So we might delay the last shop a little bit.
You'll delay it through Forlorn, maybe? Or pick it up at some point, because you can get at the end of Forlorn too without losing too much time.
But we'll see. We still got the rest of this to go through.
We're going to go up the toothbrushes? Hey!
Beautiful.
Nicely done.
Yep, clean teeth. So coming through a lot of these rooms, you may or may not recognize in the 8-bit version because they're so different. But like that last checkpoint room was the beginning of one of the Manfred chases. But instead we come underneath. Oh, nice.
I love that room when it's done like that.
Yeah, each room is so interesting to do. There's a couple of setups you can do for like that right there to speed up. Use one of the birds to rope dart. This is a really neat cycle room that helps a lot to have the damage reduction, because it allows you to do as many damage boosts as you'd like. And so then you got to kind of balance it out. You got 1 health left, makes it through no problem.
That's actually a funny room. Those crushers, if you're not moving, they actually won't do anything to you. They will just push you. But if you touch your controller at all, they will damage you. So like if you're put in a worse spot, then you're like, I'm gonna get hit. You just let go of your controller and you'll.
The only thing to be careful of is depending on the direction you're going, they have the capacity to crush.
To crush you, right?
But
Going on to
otherwise-
Monka S Ghosts number 2. This
Yeah,
has a double teleport in here. It's really hard to set up, but
There's
really
one.
nice on the last teleport there.
And
The
shout
first
out
teleport you have to set up by sort of waiting in order for the ghost to be in the right spot, but the second one you can just sort of hold forward and get it.
shout outs to wall lanterns.
Yeah, we don't know why there's a lantern in the wall, but smack it. And
It's
we'll
there.
We'll take its money.
Yep, I think it was just overlooked, and it's there now.
Oh, hey,
Hey, eyeball TP, nice job.
guess what? One more
That's-
lantern. We got the 1,000. We're good.
Nice.
Oh yeah, perfect. Once you get that 1,000, which you might even just get from the enemy drops, only one more,
999.
and you'll never have to get another shard. Oh, oh, oh.
I needed some acupuncture.
There it is. And we're set. We're done. All right, so we'll float through. That's a good teleport. Coming through this last section here probably looks familiar. We'll do the car wash one more time.
Return into the car wash. Please do not die at the car wash, yeah. Alright, cool, we're good.
Coming out here where the third Manfred chase would then start, and we drop down instead.
Let's see if I can get this one.
Section.
Yeah, there we go.
Those are so hard to set up. You just have to wait the perfect amount of time. There's one in here too that you can do that.
I can't do this one.
The one in the last room, except this one's scary as heck because if you mess it up, you're left without a cloud step in front of a giant pit with nothing in front of you. So good luck. Okay, and bye.
Yeah, bye. We got places to be, and walking back's too slow.
Yeah.
Got the money we need, so we buy the final upgrades here, and we got our last Phobicum. So that's all 4, which means the bridge is now ready to go in the future for us to enter Forlorn. The fastest way to get to Forlorn from here, travel back through Autumn Hills, in our 16-bit revisit, and make our way into Forlorn once again.
Yeah. I mean, it took them 500 years to build a bridge. It's almost like construction crews in Texas.
Let me tell you. This is a really nice revisit.
Yeah. One of my favorite levels in the game, actually. It's
Alright, sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties there, but hopefully we should be up and running soon. Our tech crew is currently working on it. Shout out to our amazing volunteers on the tech crew here at Midwest Speed Fest, as well as VGM Online. And just a reminder that Mid-Spring Speedfling 2021, in partnership with VGM Online, is raising money in support of Sweet Relief. To donate, you can go to www.speedrun.com/VGMcon-MSSF2021/donate, or you can type !donate in chat for that same URL. Additionally, Sweet Relief is a 501c3 nonprofit charity, meaning if you live in the United States, your donations may be tax deductible. To learn more about Sweet Relief, go to sweetrelief.org. And it looks like we are back, so let's head back to the messenger.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Alright. Yay, it would be a marathon without technical issues.
Yay! Give me a
Alright,
chance
we
to
good.
breathe before this really tough boss here, and it's done.
Pile of
That
leaves
box
was
is-
only one leaf.
Yeah, that boss is second only to the Bamboo Creek boss.
Yeah, those three
Alright.
laces on the way down are rough.
Like, they gave us a little bit of a breather, which is nice, because we're going into Forlorn Temple right now, with really, really tough rooms, and a really bumping track.
Yeah.
I'll
And I
tell
love how
you,
They shout out to one of my favorite series coming up right here with the screen transition. You heard that sound effect right there, the Mega Man Death sound effect. Like I said, there's a lot of call-outs or callbacks to lots of games that they're very blatant about sometimes.
this, I've heard 7D refer to it this way before, kind of like another Catacombs-style cycle-based level, which is very true. But this one kind of takes it up a notch by throwing not only brand new things at you that you only see here, like these rockets.
Like the rocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't see them anywhere else in the game. But also, why not just throw something like Wizrobes in? Because I guess the states didn't have enough.
Like
Let's
you
give
look
you
at
Wizrobes.
this room and you wonder behind it all.
Yeah.
I always joke about that they were done with the game, and then they looked at Forlorn and they were like, why don't we let our intern spice this level up a bit? Hey, you got any extra things you want to add to our level? I like rockets. Also, wizards are cool. Okay, great. We'll add lots of those here.
There's
Wow,
a really
I did not
neat
get
pressure
trolled.
skip section. I want to see.
Mr. Carter?
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
So I think both of the bats are required for that
we need
skip.
both of them, alive. Which is really kind of annoying because you want to use the bats to go fast, but you use them on the way back, which is a little
but-
counterintuitive.
But to use them to go fast, you have to not use them.
Right, yeah, you have to show some restraint, which none of us know. We just like going fast.
Yeah. And bats get no respect. I understand.
They've got no
They-
respect since Legend of Zelda. I'm sorry, those keys have trolled me one too many times.
True. But there's a really cool room. I like this room a lot, and it feels a little slow. There's actually some really neat high-end strats that are in here for when you feel like going for them.
Yeah, you can actually crystal abuse through that wall on the first switch, which is really, really hard because the way crystal abuse works is it involves you basically turning around your wall slash while falling off of the wall. But in order to do that in that section, you have to do a wall slash and then carry your jump in a way that the game still thinks it's a wall slash, even though you're in the air and you've done a cloud step. It's awful.
Wild.
So, yeah.
Again, a
Yeah,
strat
I just don't go
only
for it.
Yeah, a strat I've really only ever seen in any type of practice in this stage.
Right.
Yeah, normally it's just a Tower of Time trick with the minor uses in like music box as well.
Yep.
And this is another one of those rooms where you're like, really? Like,
Yeah, this is one of those rooms
What?
you're just like,
like the game design
okay.
up to this point has just been flawless, and then, huh?
Yeah,
Time waster point 2.
Yeah, that's the intern showing. And that was his level.
aw.
It's okay.
This is a really neat room that took a lot of work from some of our New Game Plus runners to figure out so that you could do it without getting damaged. And so you saw men kind of show it off, but we used to just expect to get hit in there.
Talk about expecting to get hit.
Oh, right.
Oh god. Ah! Okay, wow. Still 1 damage. Nicely done. That fall is scary every time. Even if you've like mastered the fall, it's still horrifying.
Yeah, I'll give it that. I mean, it's almost like this level loves saws and spikes.
Yeah, that's all you see.
Especially here.
Have you enjoyed them? Have you enjoyed them up to this point? Well, you're gonna.
You can spend a lot of time with saws right now.
Yeah, the game just sort of forces you to go through these spikes, and it's awful.
Yeah, I thought that was hard casually. It's not that much better when you're trying to learn the run. It feels a little counterintuitive to say, all right, you're going to go through this room really fast.
You're just gonna force your face into literally everything you see. But it's okay, because the game is also force feeding you health drops. So
Yep.
it's like,
It helps.
yeah.
All right, so we've got our good Demon King friend here, who we need to beat up for his crown.
Oh,
This
It's really
fight
hard
is
to follow this boss because
Yeah.
he's really good at getting away from you, and then once you've dealt like the maximum amount of damage, like in a like as much as you can, he'll sort of fly to the other side of the screen to try and attempt to get away from you, which you can still combo him in that state. You just have to move in the get there. Nice. So from this
fight.
point, the boss is pretty much dead. Now it's just kind of you're avoiding some projectiles until the end of the fight.
Yeah. If everything goes right, it's a 1.5-minute cutscene. You just dodge.
speaking of avoiding balls, holy crap.
That was good.
So during this 1.5-minute cutscene, if we had any announcements or donations.
Oh,
So I would like to give a quick shout out to the charity we are supporting, Sweet Relief. Sweet Relief Musicians Fund provides financial assistance to all types of career musicians who are struggling to make ends meet while facing illness, disability, or age-related problems. In other words, healing musicians in need. We help musicians with medical and vital living expenses, including insurance premiums, prescriptions, medical treatment and operative procedures, housing costs, food costs, utilities, and other basic necessities. In March of 2020, Sweet Relief launched a COVID-19 fund used specifically for musicians and music industry workers affected by coronavirus. 100% of every dollar donated is used to pay for medical expenses, lodging, clothing, food, and other vital living expenses to those impacted due to sickness or loss of work.
A wonderful cause, for sure.
As a fellow
And-
musician, that is a wonderful cause.
And a huge shout out to everyone who's donated and helped out with it. That is wonderful. And so as that wonderful spiel was happening, we got to see a ridiculously long death scene. But we got
One
it.
of the
We got
longest
our-
item drops that you've ever seen, yeah.
But we got it. We got the crown. So if I'm not mistaken, we got it all. We got everything we need.
Now
now
all we need to
straight
do is get the
shot.
last note. Yep.
It's a straight shot. We gotta go pick up the last note and go to the music box. Last note happens to be in Tower of Time. There is a portal to where we need to go right here.
And this is
So
we're teleporting to the future that we are trying to prevent. Really cool concept. I love that text box. The abyss stares at you. Do you stare back?
it's
So this
so
level-
cool. The background is ominous and creepy. The music is amazing.
Yeah, and from a casual standpoint, this is really cool because like just the aesthetic of everything just looks really awesome, and you're just kind of going forward and seeing like both the 16 and the 8-bit. From a speedrun perspective, it's a little boring. Not a whole lot happened until the latter half of the level, which we won't spoil.
Yeah, honestly, it's just. I mean, which is true of most cases. It's just ideal movements around these corners, and just don't die. Because dying here, there's only one real checkpoint.
Yeah, the checkpoint is the beginning of the level. Yeah, so you don't want to die here.
God, I love the bass line in the song here. It's so good.
Such a banger.
Oh, doing a little jump through for swag. Still gotta wait for the.
Stated before,
Yeah, that saves
is not a
absolutely no
static
time.
boundary, so that is not considered out of bounds. So that was a nice clip.
Sometimes you kind of get bored in this stage, so you mix some stuff up. Doesn't really save any time, but it looks cool.
That saved enough time.
It saved time in my heart.
Exactly.
Really, really did.
It made me happy, and that's what counts.
That's right. We're coming through these various sections, saving more of these fairies to unlock more spots in the stage.
Hello, thank you.
Okay, there it goes.
Rope Dart was not wanting to come out.
I guess it was tired. So we'll be going through the rest of this maze and prepping to pick up the note, which is sitting at the very end on a platform. Now, what happens in this stage, there's two parts to it. There is this first part, the approach of the note, and then the second part, which is a huge and awesome chase scene where this monster comes out of the water and attempts to fight you. We're going to skip all of that second half.
Yeah.
We're going to skip the entire second half of the stage
Yeah.
by teleporting back to the beginning with the note in hand. We're going to let the animation finish up. It's all really confused right now, but it's fine.
Yeah, because we can move through this one.
Yeah. He's going to grab it.
The game's supposed to be locking us on that other side of the map and being like, hey, now this giant chase cutscene happens and big, really scary, stinky guy comes out of the acid. Oh no, run away, but that's okay. We're at the end of the level, so
I think it's terrifying, and the chase is not as easy as I remember it being last time I tried it.
Awful, yes.
So we skip it.
He will accelerate to your speed and go faster than you sometimes, unlike Manfred, who's just at a set speed. So.
By the way, if y'all ever
horrible.
get bored sometime, y'all should look up the original test asset for that creature. Hilarious.
Oh god.
Hilarious.
I have not seen this.
I'll have to find it sometime and share it with y'all.
It is quite
we were
cursed.
we were doing some modding work, and Brokemia, one of the main modders for the game, showed it off, and it was so good.
And so now we are entering the final level of the game. This is Music Box. This has been the whole purpose of our journey. Where there's basically the first member of the Time Ninjas, as it were, the Order of Time. The first member is trapped inside this music box, cursed by the Demon King. So we've got all the 6 notes to break him free from the music box. Now we have to remove his enslavement mask from to stop the curse. And this stage is super, super cool. It's literally all coordinated with the music. All the enemies, the cycles, literally you name it, it's going with the music. It's really cool.
Things you wouldn't even imagine too. We talk a bit about the music and how cool it is, but when you think about the music and the beat and its actual effect on the level itself, it's fascinating. And in only this stage, the traps moving to the beat of it, the beat of that you enter the room will essentially determine the position of the traps. So you can, if you're good enough, you can kind of learn the beats and how you want to enter rooms.
Right. Yeah, you can manipulate using the music to your advantage to make a room not normally fast to make it faster. It's pretty cool.
You can take that a step further and manipulate the traps even more using a series of pauses, or we kind of map buffer it. I think it's easier for a lot of us, but you'll map buffer to kind of pause the game on the beat of the music, and if you do it just right, you can actually freeze traps in place if you just continuously turn on and off the map at the beat of the music.
Yeah, in certain areas you will soft lock yourself, but it's actually quite helpful.
It does even things that you wouldn't imagine, like its effect on gravity and physics. So we were talking a bit about it recently, but there actually is opportunities in this stage where forming that same kind of map buffer while walking off of a horizontal crusher actually causes you to walk in air, and you don't fall until that next beat occurs where it's not paused. So if you keep pausing and running, you can do it. There is no application for it, but it is cool to see.
We talk about a lot about tricks in the game that will only save you, 0.6 or 2 seconds, but end up costing you minutes or 30 seconds and whatnot. This room has a particular trick called Rhythm Bird, and it plagues literally everyone. You're pretty much getting a cloud step off of that bird on the bottom and getting a rope dart, conserving your cloud step, so you can basically glide on the bottom of that, basically on the bottom of the screen, and then get a double jump so that you pass all of those crushers. And that is super, super hard. Most runners don't go for it unless you're pushing for world record times.
It's also super scary.
And on top of all of that, we call it Rhythm Bird because of the beat. You have to enter on a certain beat in order to get under the first crusher before it moves. And no.
Precisely.
I'm not. Yeah. These particular steam fins too can actually get off cycle depending on the beat you walk in on, and they'll actually be on the same cycle, and so they'll all be on and off at the same time.
Off at the same time. It's
That's
so
annoying.
awful.
It is very annoying when that happens.
Because they're spread out just enough that you can sort of jump and hover just to wait for their steam. But when they're all on, yeah, it's evil. Also, proof that yeeting was intended. Yee!
Yeah. Oh, love it.
I got the cycle skip.
That was very
so
good.
sad, Chad. That was the only yeet you're going to see forever. I'm sad. Weren't you sad?
So sorry.
Well, you shouldn't be.
Oh
no!
God, that is so hard to do. I tried to skip through and skip that cycle there.
And I hit the
didn't
platform.
want to say it until the room was over. Surprise! In the 4 rotating platforms. Oh my goodness!
Yeah. That is a hard room, and it's not just hard, but it's mean because
it's mean. Yeah, the platforms moving will just crush you in a way.
Yeah, and you can tell on each side they either will crush you or just knock you off,
or just push you. Yeah.
Yeah, and so then you've got decisions to make. Typically, they lead to death. All right, we have a nice elevator skip coming up next that requires near perfect movement in this room alone. The setups, and then it's getting over here, setting up, and got it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Otherwise,
really well done.
Another second, and you have to wait for the whole cycle again. So very well done.
Yeah, you have to wait a hot minute for that to come back down. It's like, it feels like 10 seconds or something like that. It's not that long. It's probably more like 6 or 7, but it's long enough that it makes you hate waiting. Also, shout outs to whoever figured that frame perfect or pixel perfect shuriken. I love Strat. That's so cool.
Yeah, we used to do it before anyone thought to like just get on the wall and throw it. We used to just do these hops and try to get it perfect.
That's what I used to do too, and then I saw Miinfin run. He hugged on the wall. I was like, wait, why don't I do that? That's so...
It's so much more consistent.
Yeah.
I want to say I saw 2C do the wall the first time I ever saw that, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Folks just kind of pick up on it, or you see someone do it, and
another example of every bamboo crew does things a little bit differently. And here we're using the next abuse of restarting the music to stop these crushers from moving, because that room is awful.
Yeah, it can be really slow trying to deal with those, but we have a little more control over these traps than we imagined at first. This is another indication.
Room you need the perfect beat in order to really get under that thing. Otherwise, it's usually going to push you right under the spike.
Oh, that climb looked good for a second.
Really close.
Miinfin does really well with these kind of these tight jumps.
There's
off
so
the
many
wall
one tiles
there
that Miinfin getting for this height. Yeah.
All right, coming to one of the last rooms in the stage here. We'll have this room, the final puzzle room, and then kind of a little ball spike room coming up here. And I mean that's Music Box. It is a crazy gauntlet, but honestly, when I compare it to gauntlets like Tower of Time, I really like Music Box.
Yeah, it's fun. You kind of
so
jam the whole time, and it's it's so cool.
But you'll never see another level like it in the stage, in the game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got Phantom, the final boss.
This is a really, really cool boss fight, actually. There's a lot of different things that you can do to somewhat speed up this boss. There's a couple Justin ports you can get on the boss
There
yourself.
You go.
Nice wall cling to the room or to the wall. He can really troll you with that pattern with you. But if you get on the other side of him and just hit it to the wall, he gets it every time. There's a really cool clip of one of the best runners who basically gets point blank with him and starts playing tennis and starts smacking it so fast you thought you were watching anime.
Oh, Levy.
But beyond that, yeah.
Levy.
Oh.
The stuff he pulls out sometimes. Oh, Levy's so good.
Missed some hits there.
When I compare this fight to some other fights, this fight reminds me a lot of the way I think, like in a blind fight in Link to the Past, right? It's relatively scripted if you do it the same way every time, until the moment you don't, and then
Yeah, that's true.
and then you have to start adapting. But otherwise, it's typically the 2 balls you have to worry about, and then the damage. But a solid fight.
Good stuff.
Right there.
And then again, we're abusing the rope dart's invincibility. He's just got this laser constantly on. As long as we're pressing the rope dart at the right cadence, we just can't get hit.
All right, it's time.
It is time.
It's time to do the thing. We all raise our hand and provide our aids to this last segment of mashing, where we're going to be trying to shatter the mask and save the world. It's not a pig nose. That's a mask.
Yeah. I thought that's what it was at first. I was like, what?
There will be 2 quick mashing segments coming up. Time is coming up here pretty soon. There'll be 2 mashing segments. The first one, and then the second time with the laser battle. When that hits the mask and it shatters, that's time. And we'll call it shortly. So here's our first mash. Laser battle, and we say, nope, this is on us, and...
That's the
Time.
Very good.
nice. Even with the technical difficulty, it's still sub 2. Nice,
Yeah.
Nicely done, Miinfin.
Nicely done. Love that run every time. Never gets old. It's just, it's got so much to it. It can be a drag and a long run, but it's not boring. There's so much to do.
There's so many things going on. Yeah.
The entire time.
Yeah, this is any percent's my baby. I love it.
Yeah, mine too. I've spent a lot of time doing setups and stuff for a lot of these tricks and a lot of these different rooms. So this category is really, really awesome, and we need more runners.
Yeah.
Yeah. The community has actually recently started to expand a bit more with the runs, and have recently come up with a second quest run, which is just the second half of the game. So no 8-bit, no linear, just the Metroidvania portion, which is really neat. So you can actually practice the second half in a run without having to do 8-bit and linear as well. So a lot of stuff is still coming out of this community, and things are being found just about every day.
Yeah. It's great. And I've only been running this for a little over a year, but the community for this has been fantastic. And then we got people like Minus who are working on a randomizer, which for people who love those is great. But yeah, no, it's I fell in love with this game a long time ago, and now it's my baby. It's what I do.
Yeah, the Messenger is a great game, and it's one of the best communities I've ever been a part of. So come be a part of the Bamboo Crew. So I once again want to give a shout out to this amazing marathon. You guys have been phenomenal. $8,000 is a crazy amount. You guys are amazing. Shout out to everybody in chat for enjoying this amazing run. Thank you again for Minus for Commentating with me, you're always a blast. And Miinfin, congratulations, great run.
Yeah, and
You as well. Always a blast, 70.
yeah, it's great to be a part of a Midwest event. I think this is the first one I've actually been a part of, and I hope to do so again sometime in the future. But this was also my 5th marathon run for the month, so I'm taking a break for a little bit.
You've earned that, my man. GG's.
We'll pass it over to back over to the hosts if they have anything they want to add on before we head out.
Just wanted to say your final time was 1:59:44.
Sweet, still way under estimate for what I had.
Even
so
like
with
real time.
With a little blurb, but we still got a really, really good run. So
solid.
That's all you can ask for.
All right, but with that being said, I'll see y'all around. I'm taking this week off, but if anybody wants to come watch more Messenger or other speedruns, I generally do platformers Sunday through Wednesday on Twitch. Same name, but I'll see y'all around. Thank y'all for having me.